Welcome back to B&B for Phone, your ultimate destination for the most explosive daytime drama updates. Today is a beautiful day to dive headfirst into the glamorous, cutthroat, and absolutely chaotic world of Forrester Creations. We have some incredibly juicy developments to unpack today, and let me tell you, the tension in Los Angeles is thick enough to cut with a pair of fabric shears. Let's start by laying out the incredibly suspenseful situation currently unfolding in the executive suites. We all know that Ridge Forrester and his powerhouse daughter Steffy are currently sitting comfortably on the throne as co-CEOs of Forrester Creations. But here is the surprise that is shaking the very foundation of the company. Ridge is feeling that familiar creative itch and intends to step back from the exhausting corporate grind to focus entirely on his design work. Theoretically, this massive shift paves the way for a new executive to join the leadership team. And who steps up to the plate to claim that ultimate power? None other than the Valley Girl herself, Brooke Logan. Driven by her daughter Hope, who is absolutely exhausted and constantly complaining about Steffy allegedly bullying her at work, Brooke has officially marched into the office and asked Ridge to make her the replacement co-CEO. That's crazy. She literally wants to co-manage the entire fashion empire alongside her ultimate rival. And you won't believe what happens next, though if you have been watching this show for any length of time, you can probably guess Steffi's reaction. Steffy is absolutely furious. She adamantly and aggressively refuses to share even a fraction of her hard-earned power with Brooke. To Steffy, this is not just a standard business proposal or a simple shifting of successor characters. It is a massive, unforgivable betrayal from her father. She firmly declares that she will never, under any circumstances, run her family's business with a Logan. Steffy has always fiercely believed that Forrester Creations is the sacred legacy of the Forrester family, built by the blood, sweat, and tears of her grandparents. She openly accuses the Logan family members of executing a calculated, malicious plot to seize control of the company once again. Therefore, she is completely shutting down Ridge's request and locking the boardroom doors. Let's take a deep dive into the psychology of this absolute mess, starting with the puppet master herself, Hope Logan. I have to express my absolute frustration with Hope right now. Is anyone else incredibly annoyed by her constant victim mentality? She claims Steffy is bullying her, but let's look at the reality of this slow-paced plot. Hope is using her mother as a human shield. Instead of fighting her own battles in the design room or proving that her fashion line is financially viable without endless corporate handouts, she runs crying to mommy. Hope knows exactly what she is doing here. By pushing Brooke to demand the co-CEO chair, Hope is deliberately weaponizing her mother's romantic influence over Ridge. She is igniting a full-blown corporate war just to make her own daily work life a little more comfortable. It is a brilliant, albeit totally manipulative strategy from a character who usually pretends to be the moral compass of the entire universe. Now, what about Brooke? Let's talk about the absolute delusion it takes for Brooke to genuinely think Steffy would ever welcome her into the co-CEO chair with open arms. Brooke's psychological profile has always been defined by her deep-seated, unshakable belief that she is the true matriarch of Forrester Creations, completely ignoring her Logan bloodline. She genuinely feels entitled to that corner office because of her extensive history with Eric Forrester, her creation of the Bee-Leaf formula decades ago, and her endless, exhausting romantic merry-go-round with Ridge. But to demand that Ridge force his own daughter to accept her as an equal ruler? That is a massive overstep. Brooke is operating under the highly dangerous assumptions that her current status as Ridge's eternal destiny gives her a VIP all-access pass to override Steffy's authority. I absolutely hate seeing Brooke act this entitled, but from a dramatic, purely entertaining standpoint, it is absolute gold. I have to take Steffy's side on this one, and my personal bias is showing loud and clear. Steffi is a total powerhouse, and her protective instincts over the Forrester legacy are completely justified and historically accurate. Think about the deep, painful historical context here. The Logans have spent decades infiltrating the Forrester family, systematically taking their men, moving into their lavish homes, and claiming their prestigious company titles. Steffi is beautifully channeling the pure, unadulterated spirit of her late grandmother, the legendary Stephanie Forrester. When Steffi looks across the desk at Brooke asking for that co-CEO title, she doesn't see a qualified business executive. She sees a hostile corporate takeover wrapped in a blonde, destiny-obsessed package. Steffi's refusal isn't just about business metrics or quarterly profits. It is a primal, emotional defense mechanism. She is drawing a massive line in the sand to protect her bloodline's heritage. Amazing. But where does this leave Ridge? Oh, Ridge, the man who can never ever make a firm decision when it comes to the warring women in his life. Ridge is currently trapped in the ultimate nightmare scenario of his own making. He simply wanted to peacefully retreat to his sketch pads, draw some beautiful gowns, and let his wife and daughter run the empire in perfect harmony. How incredibly naive can one man be? Ridge's fatal flaw has always been his complete inability to set boundaries with Brooke. By entertaining Brooke's outrageous request and actually presenting it to Steffi, he has essentially lit a match in a room completely filled with dynamite. Now, he has to make the ultimate choice. Does he back his wife and risk alienating his daughter and destroying the company's stability? Or does he side with Steffi, effectively telling Brooke that she is second best when it comes to the Forrester legacy? This brings us to the ultimate question we pose today. Will Brooke go crazy upon learning that Steffi flat out refused her? My prediction is a resounding, terrifying yes. Brooke Logan does not handle rejection well, especially when that rejection comes directly from the mouth of Steffi Forrester. When Brooke fully realizes that Steffi has slammed the corporate door in her face, and worse, that Ridge might actually let Steffi get away with it, we are going to see a volcanic eruption of anger. Brooke will perceive this as Steffi disrespecting not just her business acumen, but her sacred position as Ridge's wife. I predict Brooke will take things way too far. We might see her crossing severe ethical lines, perhaps trying to dig up financial dirt on Steffi's recent management decisions, or even attempting to brutally rally the board of directors to stage a hostile coup. And what about the marriage? Will Brooke and Ridge's supposedly unbreakable relationship survive this corporate bloodbath? I strongly believe this conflict will put their marriage on the absolute brink of total collapse. Brooke will inevitably issue a toxic ultimatum. She will look Ridge right in the eye, tears streaming down her face, and demand that he prove his ultimate loyalty. "It's me or Steffi," she will scream. But here is the tragic irony of the situation. Ridge deeply loves his daughter, and he genuinely respects her ruthless business mind. When Ridge inevitably hesitates or tries to play the pathetic peacemaker, Brooke will view his silence as the ultimate betrayal. The entire foundation of their current romantic reunion is built on peace, harmony, and looking toward the future. But this CEO battle shatters that illusion completely. The suspense is killing me just thinking about the explosive, tear-filled arguments we are going to witness in the Forrester mansion. As the war inevitably escalates, we have to deeply consider how Steffi's leadership style will evolve under this immense pressure. Our predicted scenario suggests Steffi will become increasingly overbearing, and I completely agree with that assessment. Feeling intensely threatened by the Logan family's attempted boardroom coup, Steffi will likely double down on her absolute authority. She will become a total dictator in the office, ruling with an iron fist. We will see her aggressively micromanaging Hope's fashion line, slashing marketing budgets out of pure spite, and making life absolutely miserable for anyone who doesn't possess the last name Forrester. This overbearing, tyrannical behavior will only add massive amounts of fuel to Brooke's fire, giving Brooke the exact proof she needs to tell Ridge that Steffi is out of control, emotionally unstable, and completely unfit to lead the company alone. It is a vicious, toxic cycle of power, ego, and deeply rooted family trauma. Let's look at some of the wild fan theories circulating in our amazing community right now. Many dedicated viewers believe that Brooke's sheer desperation might lead her to form an unholy alliance to take Steffy down. Could we see Brooke secretly teaming up with a rival fashion house just to spite Steffy and tank Forrester's stock? Or perhaps Brooke will leverage her past connections to hostile takeover specialists like Bill Spencer to forcefully buy Steffy out? Imagine the sheer, unadulterated drama if Brooke decides that if she cannot rule Forrester Creations, she will simply burn it to the ground. This is the exact kind of high-stakes, ruthless soap opera storytelling we live for. The dynamic between these three legacy characters is a ticking powder keg, and the impending explosion is going to leave massive, permanent scars on the entire canvas. Let's be honest, the stress of this storyline is so intense it is a wonder the network hasn't brought in replacement actors to handle the sheer emotional exhaustion these characters are facing. The constant back and forth, the glaring looks in the hallway, and the whispered threats by the espresso machine are building up to a climax that will redefine the show for years to come. Brooke is not just fighting for a job, she is fighting for validation. She wants Ridge to publicly declare that she is his absolute equal in every single aspect of his life, including his family's sacred business. But Steffy is the ultimate gatekeeper, and she holds the keys to the kingdom. Steffy knows that if she gives Brooke an inch, the Logans will take a mile, and before she knows it, Hope will be demanding her own dedicated skyscraper. At the end of the day, this storyline is an absolute masterclass in character consistency and historical storytelling. Brooke's blind ambition, Steffy's territorial aggression, and Ridge's paralyzing indecision are all colliding in a spectacularly entertaining fashion. The stakes have never ever been higher because it is not just about a fancy title on a glass door. It is about family loyalty, decades of historical grievances, and the ultimate control of a global fashion empire. I cannot wait to see exactly how far Brooke will go to get what she wants, and I am entirely here for Steffy standing her ground like a true Forrester queen. This incredibly toxic love-hate dynamic is exactly why we tune in every single day. We are guaranteed massive plot twists, heartbreaking betrayals, and corporate espionage at its finest.
What do you guys think about today's drama? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for your daily dose of bold and beautiful news. See you in the next video.